night that changed everything. The Chernobyl story. April 25th, 1986. The Soviet Union was at the height of its power, but in a small Ukrainian town called Pripyat, something was about to happen. Something that would shake the entire world and help bring down an empire. Picture this. It's 1:23 a.m., April 26th. The operators at the Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant are running a routine safety test. Just a simple test. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. The perfect storm of errors. The RBMK reactor at Unit 4 was powerful, but unstable at low power. And unlike Western reactors, it had no strong containment dome. It was housed in a building no stronger than a warehouse. Worse, the operators didn't truly understand the reactor. Critical safety information was classified. They were flying blind, inside a machine that could destroy cities. As the test began, the power dropped too low, just 30 megawatts instead of 700. Desperate, they pulled out nearly all the control rods. Now, the reactor was a ticking time bomb. At 1:23:40 a.m., they pressed the emergency shutdown button. But instead of saving the plant, it triggered the disaster. The rods increased reactivity. In seconds, power shot to 100 times normal. The explosions that shook the world. The fuel superheated instantly. Water flashed into steam. The reactor lid, 1,000 tons of concrete, blew off like a bottle cap. A second explosion followed. Burning graphite and radioactive fuel rained into the sky like deadly fireworks. 2 workers died instantly. But this was only the beginning. The graphite moderator caught fire. 1,200 tons of it burned like a radioactive bonfire for 10 straight days. And the wind carried this invisible poison across Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, and eventually all of Europe. The heroes nobody talks about while Moscow denied anything was wrong. Ordinary people ran toward the disaster. Firefighters arrived within minutes. They had no idea they were walking into lethal radiation. They climbed onto the roof, standing above an open nuclear reactor. They fought the flames anyway. Lieutenant Vladimir Pravik and his crew saved the neighbouring reactor by containing the fire. Most of them were dead within weeks. Later came the liquidators. Over 600,000 people. Soldiers, miners, engineers, even bus drivers. Most didn't even know what radiation was. They worked in 90-second shifts because longer exposure meant death. Robots failed, but humans kept going, with shovels. The cover-up that failed. For 3 days, the Soviet Union said nothing. They evacuated Pripyat, but told residents they'd be back in 3 days. Most never returned. The truth came out, not from Moscow, but from Sweden. Radiation alarms went off at a Swedish nuclear plant. That's how the world learned about Chernobyl. The silence wasn't just incompetence. It was a system that valued secrecy over human life. The bitter truth. The official death toll, 31 people. The real number, nobody knows. By 2005, 6,000 thyroid cancer cases had been diagnosed in children. The UN estimates thousands more deaths will follow. And the tragedy is, much of it was preventable. Potassium iodide tablets could have prevented most thyroid cancers. Pregnant women could have been warned. Psychological trauma could have been eased. But secrecy made everything worse. The end of an empire. Mikhail Gorbachev later admitted, Chernobyl did more to bring down the Soviet Union than his reforms. A government that lied, that sacrificed its people to save face, could not survive. The zone today. The Chernobyl exclusion zone is now a 30-kilometer ghost land. schools empty, Ferris wheel rusting, nature reclaiming the streets. And yet life goes on. Wolves roam where children once played. Some elderly residents have even returned. The reactor itself is now entombed in the new safe confinement, a massive steel arch. It will last 100 years. Maybe. But the deadly fuel inside is still there. The lesson. We must never forget Chernobyl is more than a nuclear accident. It's a story about power, nuclear power, political power, and the power of truth. It shows the cost of secrecy and the courage of ordinary people who faced the unthinkable. The ghost town of Pripyat still stands, a silent warning when we play with forces we don't control, when we put politics above people. We don't just risk failure, we risk everything. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe for more stories.